Diddy hopes some of his former escorts will help him at sentencing. In a legal saga that has captivated the public, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted on 2 counts of transporting individuals for prostitution, a verdict delivered on July 2, 2025. While acquitted of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy that could have put him in prison for life, the convictions carry a maximum sentence of 10 years each. As the October 3, 2025, sentencing date approaches, there are reports that Combs and his legal team hope some of his former escorts will provide testimony to help mitigate his sentence. The news of this development comes as Combs remains in custody, having been denied bail by Judge Arun Subramanian after the verdict was announced. The judge cited the seriousness of the convictions and the defense's arguments for his release. Combs's legal team had sought immediate release, arguing that this was his first conviction and that the charges he was found guilty of were less severe than the ones he was acquitted of. However, prosecutors successfully argued for his continued detention, citing a history of witness tampering concerns. The trial itself was an intense, 7-week affair that largely focused on the testimony of 2 key witnesses, singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura and another woman identified by the pseudonym Jane. The prosecution had painted a picture of a criminal enterprise where Combs used his power, money, and influence to coerce women into drug-fueled sexual encounters. The defense, meanwhile, argued that these were consensual relationships and that all parties involved were adults who willingly participated in the activities. While the jury found Combs not guilty on the sex trafficking charges, they were convinced that he had knowingly transported individuals across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. This is a conviction under the Mann Act, a law that makes it a felony to transport any individual in interstate or foreign commerce with the intent that the individual engage in prostitution. The defense has argued that this conviction is without precedent, claiming that there was no commercial motive and that the individuals involved were not coerced. In a motion filed after the verdict, Combs's lawyers asked the judge to either throw out the guilty verdicts or grant him a new trial, a request that is still pending. With the sentencing date looming, the legal strategy of seeking help from former escorts would be an attempt to show the judge that the relationships were not coercive and that the individuals involved would support a more lenient sentence for Combs. The defense's argument would likely center on a narrative of voluntary participation and a lack of exploitation, which they have maintained throughout the trial. It remains to be seen whether any former associates will come forward and what impact their testimony would have on the judge's final decision. The maximum sentence for the 2 counts is 20 years, but prosecutors have indicated that their preliminary calculations suggest a sentence of roughly 4 to 5 years. The defense, on the other hand, has suggested a range of 21 to 27 months. The final punishment is up to the judge, who has wide latitude in determining the sentence. Combs will receive credit for the time he has already served since his arrest in September 2024. The sentencing on October 3, 2025, will mark the next chapter in this high-profile case.